In today's video, I'm going to show you why 95% of golfers can never break 85. Hi everyone, my name's James Robinson and welcome back to Get Good at Golf. If you'd like to do just that, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and of course throw a like on this video if it could help you break that elusive number. So guys, we're going to talk today about ball striking with irons and how it can really stop you shooting the numbers that you want to shoot, because I see so many golfers around the world, and yes, you can hit good shots, you can hit the occasional good iron shot, we can even send a nice pressured shot like this one into a green and take a nice divot, but we also see so many golfers who really struggle releasing the club properly and releasing a different dynamic loft every time they hit the ball. Now you might think, well that's okay because I just want to get the ball up in the air and then I want to hit it however far and then I know it's going to be around the green. But if I have a 7-iron here, which I do, and that 7-iron has say 32 degrees of static loft, which is around what this Tacoma 7-iron has. Now, if I produce 32 degrees of static loft dynamically, that's going to go 150 yards. If I produce 28 degrees of dynamic loft or 26 degrees of dynamic loft, it's going to go a little bit further. It's going to go 160, 170, which is what my general numbers are with a 7-iron. God forbid, if I produce 40 degrees of dynamic loft, then the ball isn't going to go as far and it's going to go a lot higher. It's also not going to go as straight because we're going to be releasing that club incorrectly. So in order to release the club properly, we have to do a couple of things right first in the backswing and in the takeaway. So I see a lot of golfers who potentially take the club, I've said potentially again there, and I apologise because I know it affects a lot, it affects me as well, but anyway, potentially you could see people take the club away with the body first here, so the club lags behind, and then try and set the club at the top of the backswing, and that's a very difficult way of taking the club back because we're not going to have the consistency level that we want. So what I want to think about here is a kinematic sequence, a dynamic sequence that can help me do this correctly 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, because the key to breaking 85 is being consistent. If you keep the ball in play, you hit the ball around the green, around the right distance, and of course hold a couple of putts, you're going to be breaking 80, you might even be breaking that kind of 75 mark, but we'll get to that as we come to it. So what I want to think about here is, what do I move first? The first thing I want to move is the club. So I move the club out this way. You'll see my lower body stays nice and static, and as I'm moving the club, I'm then moving my arms, I'm then moving my chest, I'm then moving my shoulders, and the last thing to move is my lower body to get up in this position here. Now from there, I'm going to reverse that, and this is how I can really capture that release and really start to hit some good golf shots. So let's do that. Let's hit a couple of shots and see just what we can do. So we're 165 yards out here. I've got the 7-iron, and if I do what I said, I have that nice kinematic sequence. You can see a really nice well-struck shot there in the heart of the green. It's gone the perfect distance, and if you do that 9 times out of 10, especially on the par 3s here, it's going to really help you to break that 85 number. Now Chris is coming down to show us the divot, because I did mention about how to strike a golf ball properly, how to take a divot. You can see my release pattern has to have been good there, because that for me is the perfect divot. You can see where the T-peg is, you can see where the ball was, and you can see we've not got a really steep divot, so I'm not trying to produce an infinite amount of forward shaft lean, which of course results in that dynamic loft that we spoke about earlier, but I am trying to get that handle forward just slightly. That matches with the rotation of my hips, with the rotation of my body, and that allows me to take that nice crisp clean divot. So that's how we do that, and that for me is something that actually took a long time to learn, and it can take a long time to learn, especially if you have the occasional bad habit like not cleaning your golf clubs, which was my New Year's resolution. So there we go. But if we don't do that properly, if the kinematic sequence is good on the way back but poor on the way down, we start to see a release that goes this way. So you see I'm adding dynamic loft, and I mentioned earlier that that can also result in high shots and wayward shots that go left and right. So if I show you a shot like that, I'm going to aim at the middle of the green. Sometimes you can get away with this, and if you're a very good hand-eye coordination player, you're very good at pool, you're very good at table tennis, you're very good with your hands, you might be good at this, and you won't be the most consistent, but
good days and bad days.
You'll have very good days and very bad days. So if I take a shot like that, you can see I've actually gotten near that quite well, but watch where this finishes. It's all over the flag. Oh no, it's short. How did I know that was short? because dynamically I had too much loft. I managed to square the face, I managed to hit a very good shot. A lot of people would think, oh, no, I should have hit 6-iron. When realistically, you could hit that same shot again. You don't need 6-iron, you just need a well-struck, a well-dynamic lofted 7-iron, which is exactly what we've been trying to do. So essentially, it's a really simple way of hitting consistent distance golf shots, and that is the key to starting to break 90, 85, 80, 75. It's that consistency of distance, that consistency of club face, and also if you think about how you're going to release that club over, the last thing I want to see is, of course, that shot I've just hit, because you'll start to see the hands wrap over massively for that shot, and we don't want big passive hands. We do want passive hands. We don't want active hands. We want nice passive hands that work around the wrist moving and work around the hips moving, and that's going to really help us.
That's all dependent on your grip as well, isn't it? If you've got the incorrect grip, you're not going to be able to release. You're not going to be.
Chris has been doing this at me behind the camera for ages to add something in, and I'm like, I'm sure I've mentioned that, but no, the grip is important. If you have an incorrect grip, it's going to be impossible to have that proper release pattern. And that doesn't just mean a strong grip or a weak grip. That essentially means for me, where is the grip in your hands? Is it in the palms? Is it in the wrists, as some people have it? Or is it nicely settled in those fingers, which allows you to caress that club through the turf? And that's a word which Chris uses quite a lot, but I think caressing a golf ball into the turf, there's no finer thing, there's no better art, there's no better way of striking a golf ball with your irons. So realistically, if you have that sequence correct, if you can allow that lower body to start the downswing, you can allow yourself to get that forward shaft lean, caress that golf ball into the turf, then you can start to play good shots. Now I've just felt here that the wind is up a little bit, so that essentially could be why, potentially, that shot came short, the second shot that we hit. Obviously, if you can't control your golf ball into the wind, it's very, very detrimental to your game. It's not a really windy day here, but you can start to feel it. So now if I think, how do I attack this shot now I know the wind's up a little bit? Essentially what I'm going to try to do is rotate that lower body the same, get a little bit more forward shaft lean, take that dynamic loft down just a couple of degrees, and from there that can really help me start to play better shots. So rather than clubbing up and having an incorrect release pattern, ball back in the stance, drive that club forward. You can see that's a lovely lower ball flight, same kind of divot, but that one's up there again, flag high left side of the green, so we can really start to play much better shots, and I really hope that can help you guys break 85. So that divot there.